Shag, marry, date. Kylie Minogue, Nicole Kidman or Rhonda Birchmore?
Oh, Kylie, clearly.
You'd marry Kylie and shag her and date her?
All of the above.
All right, the triple.
She's terrific.
Now, today we have heard from the Prime Minister releasing a statement. In one sentence, he says, "I apologise unequivocally for the comments."
Can I just give anyone a bit of advice? If they are going to appear on mainstream television, trust me on this one because it cost me a whole load. Just don't talk about shagging a woman. There seems to be a real issue with that word shag. Now, I use it a lot. Maybe it's because I grew up in newsrooms, tabloid newsrooms, where my bosses always said, "Did that person shag that person?" But after my whole scandal with Lawrence Fox saying he didn't want to shag the female journalist Ava Santina, which caused us both to lose our jobs at GB News, Australia's Prime Minister, not a bloke I usually like, he's called Anthony Albanese, is being hounded and condemned by the MSM. This is after he appeared on a podcast and within a game admitted that he would shag the very shaggable pop star, Kylie Minogue, another woman who I love. Now, Albanese, look, he didn't just come out with this out of nowhere. He was answering a question, and it was a comedy show hosted by someone called Nikki Osborne, and they played this game. I'm sure you've heard of it, right? It's something journalists use to get these headlines: shag, marry, date. And he was given 3 options. You can think about this at home: Kylie Minogue, the actress Nicole Kidman, and the singer Rhonda Birchmore. This was the answer he gave.
Well, we're at rapid fire questions now. Every guest gets asked these. Shag, marry, date. Kylie Minogue, Nicole Kidman or Rhonda Birchmore?
I've just got married. I'm only 6 months in.
But if it goes tits up, let's just pretend.
Oh, Kylie, clearly.
You'd marry Kylie and shag her and date her?
All of the above.
All right, the triple.
She's terrific.
All right, that's fair.
You can imagine the backlash. You can just imagine.
Now, today we have heard from the Prime Minister releasing a statement. In one sentence, he says, "I apologise unequivocally for the comments."
What's been the reaction to these comments, Pablo?
Roundly criticised. We have heard from the Shadow Communications Minister, Sarah Henderson, who has said that they are disrespectful to women, embarrassing to Australians, and demean the office of the Prime Minister. She also called it crude locker room talk.
And of course, it was left to his Social Services Minister, Tanya Pilbersek, to try and defend Albanese. If you're tired of the mainstream narrative and want the unfiltered truth, you are in the right place. Hit subscribe, join the Outspoken community right now, and let's keep the conversation going in the comments.
I'm not going to comment on a podcast I haven't heard. I've heard, a few seconds of an excerpt that you just played a second ago. If what the Prime Minister's saying is that he's a fan of Kylie Minogue, I guess that puts him in a group with millions of other Australians, including me. I'm a big fan of Kylie's as well.
Well, so am I. I love my Kylie Minogue. Trust me. But that wasn't the point, was it? All of this, I'm not going to lie, is giving me disturbing flashbacks, a bit of PTSD if I was woke to this moment in October 2023.
Show me a single self-respecting man that would like to climb into bed with that woman, ever, who wasn't an incel, who wasn't a cucked little incel. That little woman has been fed, spoon-fed oppression day after day after day after day, starting with the lie of the gender wage gap. And she sat there and I'm going like, if I met you in a bar and that was like sentence 3, chances of me just walking away are just huge. We need powerful, strong, amazing women who make great points for themselves. We don't need these sort of feminist 4.0. They're pathetic and embarrassing. Who'd want to shag that?
Oh, Lawrence. Well, look,
Sorry.
And look, that was the same reaction I had when I saw Anthony Albanese's answer. But do I think that this should be dominating the news in Australia? No. I have a feeling my husband and wife duo on today's Superstar panel might disagree. Neil Hamilton, of course, a former Tory minister. Christine Hamilton, his wife, a broadcaster and author. Neil, did you see anything wrong with Anthony Albanese answering that question? I mean, what was he meant to say to the woman? How inappropriate that you've asked me this. Let's just move on. Like, that's what po-faced woke people want him to say, right?
This channel provides news reporting, commentary, criticism, and analysis based on publicly available information. All images, video clips, and other materials belong to their respective copyright owners and are used where appropriate for commentary.
Well, he is a po-faced woke person, isn't he? And
That's the irony. Well. That's the irony.
And Christine will, of course, have expected me to behave just like Albanese. We've had a few tiffs in our lives over similarly embarrassing moments. I'm afraid I don't really have any sympathy with Albanese at all, for the reason I just stated, that he likes to play the left wing part to his own supporters, and now he's trying to be blokish on a radio, TV show, or podcast, whatever it was, and I'm afraid he's paid the price of trying to be two things at the same time. But like you, I don't think it's a massive political issue. I do think it demeans the office of Prime Minister for him to do something like that, to be put himself in that sort of position, and it certainly was very poor political judgment on his part. So I hope he gets all that he deserves.
Christine, were you offended? But first, do you remember when energy used to feel effortless? You'd get through a workout, a long day, a bad night's sleep, and still feel sharp. But as you get older, trust me, it can start to feel like your body and brain don't have the same spark they used to. Here's the interesting part. That's not in your head. It's biology. When we're younger, our bodies naturally produce and regenerate high levels of creatine. But as we move into our 40s and beyond, that production steadily declines. And that means less readily available energy for both our muscles and our brains. That's exactly why Qualia Creatine Plus was created. Here's the key thing though. You can't just take any old creatine and assume it's doing the job. It has to actually get into your cells and then be activated so your body can use it properly. That's why Qualia Creatine Plus is different. It combines two clinically studied forms of creatine with electrolytes, all chosen to support absorption and activation. It includes easy to mix micronized creatine monohydrate in a new form called OptiCreatine, plus creatine magna power, along with a precise amount of sea salt to help support uptake where it matters most. What makes this stand out is that it's not just creatine, it's the delivery system your body needs to make it work for you. We're way past the dark ages of creatine being just for gym bros. Creatine is critical for energy, metabolism, cognition, and healthy aging, not just lifting like a bodybuilder. So go to qualialife.com/Dan for 50% off. And here's a bonus. Use the code Dan for an additional 15% off your order. That's QUALIA life.com/Dan and use the code Dan. And thank you so much to Qualia for sponsoring this episode. Now, back to the show.
No, I wasn't offended in the slightest. I mean, to be honest, I think it's very funny. But what on earth is he doing going on a programme with a woman who's dressed like that and expecting to have, and what did you have for breakfast, or what is your policy for reviving the economic thing of this country or something? I mean, what did he expect? She was clearly, and apparently she said, I ask everybody this question, so why wasn't he prepared? He should have been prepared. I mean, silly fool. But, I just think it's quite funny. Can you imagine Keir Starmer on a programme like that? Now, that would be funny.
Well, I would love to see his
He doesn't
reaction.
know what a woman is, so he doesn't know what a woman is, does he? So.
And does he even want to shag them? Anyway, that is a whole other situation.
A shag is a very beautiful seabird.
Well, yes. I think it's the word. The word really annoys Woketopians, actually. Yeah. Whereas I love it. I love the word because it's sort of, it is a little bit naughty, isn't it, Christine? It's a bit of a naughty word, but it's not a swear word, you know?
No, it's not a swear word. As I say, it's a shag is a very beautiful seabird.
Or a form of tobacco.
Oh, is it? Well, I don't know. But anyway, I mean, frankly, what an idiot going on a podcast like that when what are his people doing saying you are going to be asked this question?
But they all do this, don't they? Because it's all about being human. And what's interesting, when you look at this from a UK political context, I could see Andy Burnham, the incoming Prime Minister, wanting to do much more of this, because everything about Andy Burnham is like, because did you see Albanese is just wearing like a T-shirt there? He's not wearing a suit. And Burnham's got this whole thing about his dark blue T-shirts and leaning into personality politics. But it only works up until a point, doesn't it, Neil? Because, okay, Andy Burnham might have a better personality than Slippery Starmer, but let's be honest, I mean, you know,
not a high bar.
Well, exactly. Banana has a better personality than Slippery Starmer. So it's a low bar, but actually that personality doesn't matter if the country is going to the dogs. And I know for a fact, having been to CPAC in Australia last year, where I gave one of the keynote speeches, that Australia is going to the dogs. His citizens are absolutely horrified about what he's doing to this country. So I don't think this is going to work for Albanese, and I don't think this type of approach will end up working for Burnham either. Like, it might take him a little bit longer to become the most hated man in the country compared to Starmer, but it will happen.
Absolutely. Well, deep down, they're both shallow, aren't they? That's the whole point. But this is pure artifice on their part. Now, let's get down with the lads and be blokish. Bit of locker room talk doesn't do any harm, does it? But unfortunately, of course, as a lot of people on social media have learned, that it's not something that can be regarded as a private conversation. And so it'll come back and bite you on the bum, won't it? If I'm allowed to use that word on a family programme before the watershed. But I think that these people deserve everything they get from trying to be something that they're actually not. And it's just a form of misrepresentation where they're trying to be something that they can never be. And it's so obvious, isn't it? That's the point, that it's so transparent that all they do is make fools of themselves, and they should realise that that's what's going to happen in these situations.
Dan Wootton Outspoken is your no spin, no bias, no censorship outlet for independent news. We have no big tech backing or billionaires pulling my strings, but that does mean I need your support. So please hit subscribe on YouTube, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to Dan Wootton Outspoken on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It's totally free, but allows me to continue my promise to always keep fighting for you.